So let's go on ahead. We got a game plan. Last time we put together this wonderful game plan of, let's just kill Rika. It'll be fine. She'll be dead for 48 hours. And then we'll be, surprise, she's dead! That'd be great. This plan cannot go wrong. You can't flub this up. The preparations for tomorrow's festival is moving right along with the Furude Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth group and some middle-aged men are unloading them. Oh no, we got Rika is sick music.
Irie-sensei. Rika-chamaの具合はどうですね?
はい、ちょっとたちの悪い風邪だったようですが、峠は越していると思います。ただ、風邪は治り際が肝心です。本人たちにも今日は治ったとはしゃがず、布団の中でおとなしくしているように注意してきたところです。
ああ、そうかそうか。さとこちゃんも一緒に風邪をひいてるんか。二人で仲良く風邪だもんで、ついつい遊んじゃうんだろうの。風まで一緒とは、リカちゃまとさとこちゃんは本当に仲良しだね。ああ、ちょうどいいと思う。
Yo! Like, this guy's voice is really sending me right now.
イリエの先生がね、リカちゃまたち峠は越したって言うてんね。
It's like it's like they recorded his lines on a reel-to-reel tape machine, and then somebody's just putting their finger on it every now and again while it's playing back, so you get it sounding a lot like this.
へえ、そうかいそうかい。それはよかった。それで明日の炎演舞なんだけど。
Yo, Poncho, how's it going? Doing well?
本人はやると言って聞かないんです。皆さんがやってくれと頼めば多分喜んでやってしまうでしょう。ただ医者の立場としては、たとえ今日熱が下がっていても明日は大役をお休みさせてあげたいところです。
困ったね。ああ、おりょうさん、リカちゃまの具合ね、よくはなってきたけど、まだまだ安静なんだってよ。
Let's get Grandma to do the ceremonial dance.
そんな仕方ねえな。
I think she could do it. I think she could pull it off, guys.
無理にやらせて祭りの日に倒れられた日にゃ、またお社様のたたりだなんて言われちまうんよ。
いや、村のみんなも心配してるよ。また5年目のただりもあるんじゃないかって言ってね。で、北条家のさとこちゃんとリカちゃまだろ。物騒な想像してる連中もいるらしいんだよ。
アホらしい。リカちゃまはお社様の生まれ変わりよ。そのリカちゃまがたたりに会うときは村が滅ぶときよ。縁起でもねえこと言うんでね。
いやはや。
ヒゲ先生、二人を見舞うことはできない。
Oh, she wants to go see him.
しばらく遠慮してあげてください。治りかけで遊びたい盛りなんです。外部との接触があると興奮してまた床を抜け出そうとしてしまいますから。
She's gonna bring over her Famicom, and they're gonna sit there and have a big... Like, dude, she's gonna bring over Ohagi, she's gonna bring her Famicom, she's gonna bring the big screen TV. They're gonna have a fucking party, dude!
入江先生、あの二人を頼むな。リカちゃまだけじゃねえ。さとこちゃんも頼むな。
Guys, we found a good timeline. Really? That's surprising. Oreo-san always acts as if she doesn't even see Satoko-chan. But she just asked me to take care of Satoko-chan too.
もちろんリカさんももちろんサトコちゃんも絶対に元気にしてみせますよ。お任せください。
Yeah, that seems really intentional.
またお社様のたたりなんて言われちまう。内里先生、昭和も50年にもなって人類が月にまで行っちまうような時代にもなってまだたたりなんてアホ臭いとは思うんかいね。
思いますね。
ダム戦争の頃は確かにうちらはそれを煽ったし利用もした。
Yep, this part is proving very nice. How's it going, John? Hope your evening is going well.
でもな、ダム戦争はとっくに終わっとる。いつまでもたたられてばっかりではいつまでたってもダム戦争が終わらんのよ。
サトコちゃんが死ぬとダム戦争のたたりだと
You're
言
eating
われるから
nachos.
ですか。
That is a damn good plan.
ダム戦争はもう終わったんよ。村の子が風邪ひいたら心配するのが年寄りの仕事だっちゅうだけやんね。
Guys. It's fine. Oreo would show up with the big screen, with the Famicom, with a bunch of Ohagi, and they would just sit around playing Super Mario all day. It's the best. I already know what Oreo-san wants to say. I want her to actually say it, but if I made her, she might get angry. This is more than enough. When she talks about the dam conflict, she doesn't just mean the war they waged against the construction itself. She's also including how the Hojo family was ostracized after it was over. She's saying that the dam conflict is over, including everything that happened as a result of it, and that's why she told me to take care of Satoko-chan. Yo, Elrock! How's it going?
お見舞いの気持ちを汲み取ってくれると思います
Hope
よ。
you're doing well.
あんないたずらぼんずに年寄りの心なんざわらわら。
I think that's kind of how it is for everybody right now. It's going. Granny can laugh. Oreo-san left, laughing. I wasn't the only one watching her leave. Kimiyoshi-san and some other elders did the same. They all understand what Oreo-san wanted to say. The damn conflict is over now.
あの元気なサトコちゃんにも熱を出させるんだから。恥の
A
悪い
big
風だ
something?
ね。
Oh no. Well, I hope the big something is something that goes okay. That is for sure. I'll be sending all the good vibes I got your way and
いい
hope
先生。
for a good thing. Well, I'll worry anyway. That's just how I am. But you know what I mean.
二人をよろしく頼んます。
I don't want things to go wrong, even if it's not physically or anything like or any health issues. I worry about my friends' emotional states and mental health as well. So
面会謝絶だからしゃあないけど。
that's just something I'm gonna worry about, especially in times like this.
年寄りがみんな心
We're
配してるから。
in a rough time.
はよ
People are
元
having
気
a
にな
rough
る
go
と
of
伝え
it.
てください。
ええ、二人ともきっと喜ぶと思います。
I vow to myself, Takano-san is more than likely planning something for tomorrow, taking advantage of people's belief in the curse. I can't let that happen. The curse of Oishiro-sama will end before it can happen for a fifth time. I'm sure of that. I like nerds. I like nerds' his standards for being okay. All four limbs are attached and you're not on fire. Oishi couldn't accomplish the 48-hour operation alone. He would need help from someone else. Oishi called up both Kumagai and the old man from the forensics and told them everything.
重ねて申し上げますが、こいつはやばい橋になります。融資ならいいですがね、懲戒だったら退職金も吹っ飛びます。
なんだ大石、お前やばい作戦の前にはいつも
And Lanx has once again shown up
いつもと変わらん
to drum us through another visual novel scene.
そうっすよ、おいさん。いつものようにもっと元気に退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に出てってくださいってやってくださいよ。そうじゃないと調子狂うっす。
いや、本当にやばい話なんですよ、クマちゃん。
Yeah, like, Kumagai doesn't even have art in the original. He doesn't have a manga gamer art at all. So Kumagai, like, he only uniquely got sprites for the PS2, 3, Switch version.
その覚悟は本当にあるんですか？
試しに10数えてみればいいじゃないですか。なら今日は俺が数えるっす。退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に退出してください。1、2、3。
わかりました、わかりました。クマちゃんの覚悟はよーくわかりました。いや、しかし本当にいいんですね。
俺あの日赤坂さんの武勇伝を聞いてるうちに熱くなってきたんす。やはり刑事になったからには巨悪と戦いたい。それに俺もやがては赤坂さんみたいに武勇伝を誇れる男になりたいんですよ。やばい橋上等じゃないっすか。それに大石さんの提案する作戦で俺たち一度も失敗したことないです。だから俺その大石さんがいけると思って誘った作戦ならビビりませんよ。
若いというのはいいの。こいつな、あの日以来赤坂君にだいぶ感化されよっての。秘密捜査や秘密事件に関わりたいと息巻いとったんだ。
いや若いっていいな。それでじいさまはどうします？
わしも乗るぞい。というかそこまで言われたら会社の研修がそいつらをしょっぴけるかどうかを左右することにもなるからね。今日まで散々不養生を重ねてきた。そうそう、この老いぼれが長生きすることもないだろう。なら男に生まれたからには最後くらいでかい花を咲かせたい。
やれやれ、じいさまもクマちゃんもとにかく怖いもの知らずだな。だからドラが3つめくれてても強気でリーチ入っちゃうんだよな。
I get that reference. I know how to play Mahjong now.
何言ってんすか大石さん。男なら降りられない時がある。どうせ切るならど真ん中ってのは大石さんの口癖っすよ。
違いない違いない。
I declared Richie on that reference.
お二人の首私が預からせてもらいます。
そうと決まればわしの方も少々準備がいる。今のメンツと機材じゃ薬物系まで調べるのは難しいからな。
I promise you, nerd, it's actually a lot easier to understand than you think it might be. Like, there are some really good YouTube tutorials out there, and there's some really good apps that kind of like, or not even apps, they're just sites that you can go to that have like a little Flash plug-in where you can just like play a few hands and you immediately kind of get the idea of what is going on. There are obviously like more advanced things like Yaku and stuff, but if you're playing games online with people, that stuff is usually just kind of figured out for you. And you kind of just learn those as you go, and you learn how to build hands toward them.
急いで知り合いの鑑識の中から手の空いた連中を呼びつけるか。大石、全部終わった後はちょいとでかくおごってもらうぞい。
そこは任せてください。ですが打ち明ける相手にはくれぐれも注意してくださいよ。署内にスパイ混じってるそうですから。
分かっとる。わしも伊達に人は見とらん。 任せとけ。
よーし、燃えてきたっす。刑事魂本開っすよ。
It had taken Oishi all night to come to a decision, but those two had decided immediately. He couldn't help but question himself.
では私はこのままちょいと用事があるんで出かけます。クマちゃんはじいさまを送ってあげてください。今日は非番なのにすいませんでしたね。
何、構わん。久々に男の血がうずいてきよった。これほど腕の鳴る大舞台、わしの人生でもこの年になって初めてじゃわい。
They're just enacting their own JRPG in the background. That's what's
ビビる
happening.
どころか。
It is a JRPG that's happening and you don't even know what's happening.
ありがとうございます、じいさま。クマちゃん。
Yes. I liked it too because you have to give Oishi stakes in this. I think that's kind of what that's doing there. Like, he's got to have stakes in this. He's got to have something on the line. More so than his life, I think. Because I think that, like, oh, he's an old man. If he dies helping people, you know, he lived a full life and he did good while going out. But, like, if he has to live and he doesn't get his pension, like, that really sucks. Oishi stopped by a flower shop. He bought a bouquet of balloon flowers. Usually the purple ones are the most popular, and Oishi was fond of that color too, but today he didn't buy purple flowers. He got unusual white balloon flowers instead. With the bouquet in hand, he headed to the cemetery across from the flower shop. Oh. The date was June 18th. The real anniversary would be tomorrow, but as Oishi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated it on the previous day instead. It was the day before the anniversary of the death of the old man. The one Oishi considered a best friend, a brother, and
毎
father.
年毎年私は今年こそはおやっさんの右腕を見つけ出すと誓ってますが、さっぱり見つかってません。
Oishi spoke to the grave. He laid the bouquet of white balloon flowers down on
です
top
が
of it.
ようやくおやっさんの死の真相に近づく機会を得ました。ただね、それが笑っちゃうんですよ。園崎家は関係ないって言うんです。私は毎年ここにお寮のばあさんを連れてきて土下座させてやるって誓ってきたのに、それが全くの大外れだったって言うんですよ。
And I like him kind of like having to come to kind of like let go of this grudge. Like, everybody has to kind of get over something in this series, and him, like, he's getting over something that goes real fucking deep too. So I really like them kind of tackling this, kind of saving it for one of the last big ones, because him with this belief is something that's driven so many people into the bad spot that they end up in. So kind of hitting this in the last chapter feels very appropriate.
私はすっかり参ってしまいましてね。またおやっさんにげんこつをもらっちまいます。勝手に当たり牌を誤解してベタ折りしまくった挙句にドカンと痛い目に遭う。決めつけないできっちり手を進めてりゃ、でっかい手がちゃんとできてたかもしれないのにです。私は全然進歩してません。麻雀も相変わらずですよ。こんな一度思い込んだら疑うことも知らない頭の固いやつは多分バカって言われるんだろうなと思います。
Yep. Like, this is a really good moment. Oishi had already had a vague idea. The way Irie had phrased it, he could already guess. There was no dark secret behind the old man's dismemberment murder. The events that followed were separate incidents. That particular murder was an individual incident, and it had nothing to do with anything else. Since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Oishi needed someone to blame, and the mysterious Sonozaki family was the perfect target. The drama of revenge that Oishi believed in never existed.
私は今
Aww.
やばい橋を渡ろうとしてます。
I didn't think we would get Oishi CG, but we got a fucking Oishi CG! Yeah, and it's just the poison that he couldn't let go of, like, turned so many people down a real bad path.
リスクの割に大した見返りはありません。せいぜい私というバカの思い込みを解いてくれるだろう真実ってやつを教えてもらえるだけです。ですがなんだかやっと私は自分ってやつを許してやれそうな気がします。
Yeah. Domo, domo. Like, it just sounds like doom crawling up your spine anytime you hear that. In any scene. Because you know he's there to fuck something up. Oishi bowed deeply to the grave. And then he heard footsteps behind him. It had been someone else who knew the old man. That person can't come on the day of Watanagashi every year either, so they come on the day before, just like Oishi does. They always bring blue hydrogenases. I don't know how to say that word. Purple balloon flowers and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Oishi always picks white ones. Usually those ones are already there by the time he arrives, but as Oishi had his secret meeting with Kumagai earlier in the morning, he came straight to the graveyard afterward and arrived before this person did. Visiting a grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Oishi was curious about the other person who brings flowers every year, so he looked up. Blue hydrosity. But what?
これは
Okay, I forgot about this. Okay, I completely fucking forgot about this. Wow. Okay.
皆さんもどなたかのお墓参りですかな?
Oishi stated the obvious, but from one glance he could guess everything. Upon seeing those in her arms, it all made sense.
おやあんた勤務中じゃないのかい? 悪いお人だね、まったく。
Akane Sonozaki laughed as she handed a bouquet of hydrosities to her daughter, Shion. Shion, not knowing what to do, was caught between her mother and
ほ
Oishi.
ら、いつまでもお墓の前で突っ立ってんじゃないよ。そこをどき。
Yeah, Mama Mion is fantastic. She's great. Everybody loves her. Oishi moved over as told and
ま
spoke.
さかあんたが毎年おやっさんにアジサイを?
綺麗だろうちの庭のやつなのさ。やっぱり6月はアジサイさね。
How about now?
あんたの気境も珍しいね。白いのもあるのかい?
frames! We're back to this. Yeah, I had a visit from my cable place yesterday and literally just said, yeah, it's probably just due to overload in the area because of COVID. It's great. I love it. So, there's literally nothing that can be done about it. Like, my lines are fine, my modem is fine, my router's fine. They were just like, yeah, in the evening, things were just really congested because people are home now, and they're just using the internet a lot. So, it's just something we gotta get used to, unfortunately, and I apologize.
それも涼しそうで良さげだよ。
ああ、大石のおじさま、ちょっとすみません。お花いけますんで、お邪魔します。
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like, just from what I was told yesterday, at least in my area, it's just like, it's just gonna be this way until things kind of even back out again. It's just like, yep, that really sucks. Shion knelt down in front of the grave and got the flowers ready. She put the hydrosities in the vase alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start.
空前にしちゃいい取り合わせじゃないかい。白に青によく引き立て合ってるよ。
毎年私が来るとアジサイがありましたからね。青い花じゃ相性が悪いと思いまして。
なんだ、なら私たち相性はバッチリじゃないかい。
そうですね。
どうしたんです、おじさん。レントゲンに妙なもんでも映ってたんですか？なんか今日は嫌に神妙で気持ち悪いですね。
Oh, do you think that might be it? Since you've been good to us, I'll bring some hydrosities to your grave too. Don't worry.
うちの組の店にツケが残ってるだろう。
Damn
そ
those
いつの
sons.
請求書を備えに来てやるよ。
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna keep calling them hydrosities.
やれやれ、親子揃って口の減らない一家です。あいにくまだ当分お迎えは来ないみたいです。定年までもうラストスパートですが、まだまだ行きますよ。
なら結構。沖宮の一市民としては公僕の頼もしい一言で安心だね。
The conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little
しか
off about it.
し、一つ教えちゃくれませんかね。
Yeah, like it's like it feels like both sides are kind of trying to let something go here because it's not doing anybody any good.
死守同盟と現場監督のおやすさんは犬猿の中だったはずでしょう。その二人がどうして花を備えてくれるんです？
そりゃ犬猿さね。私たちは敵同士。
そうで、こんにゃろうはとにかくムカつくじじいでしたからね。噛みついてやったし、溝落ちに肘をくれてやったし、あと車のボディを10円玉で削ってやったり。
Don't fuck with Shion. I'm pretty okay with like being bit and being elbowed in the stomach, but do not go at my car with a coin. Oh my god. Shion, the statute of limitations isn't up yet. Shion stuck out her tongue and hid behind her mother in
それ
embarrassment.
だけ仲の悪かったシオンさんまでがどんな経緯でここへ墓参りに来てるんですか？
てか、ダム戦争はもう終わりましたし、まあその敵とはいえ、いろいろシャレにならないこともしましたしね。
なんだい、納得いかないのかい？終わった戦争さね。ラグビーだって終わったらノーサイド。敵味方なしなんだろう？そういうことさ。
Akane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Oishi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They spat at each other. How could they even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Akane said that it was normal. Their moral standards weren't matching up.
私にはあんたの方が理解できないね。 私の中ではダム戦争は終わったことになってんだけど、あんた
Damn.
の頭の中ではまだ続いてる
Like, this lady does not mince words at all, and that's why I love it. Like, she doesn't take it easy on anybody. Even when, like, she was going back and forth with Keiichi in Minagoroshi, she just, like, she's there to test your mettle at all times. And I love it.
まさかちゃんと終わってますよ。あの騒々しいスピーカーが未だ頭の中から鳴りやまないなんて冗談じゃないです。
なら園崎家が墓参りしてもおかしいことはないだろほら、どきなどきな。私もお供えを持ってきたんだから。
Akane took out a small package from her bag and put it down in front of the
その
grave.
包み毎年見かけてましたが、中身は何なんです？
鬼ババ特製のおはぎです。
Wow.
酒飲みは甘いのは苦手だろうからって砂糖抜きだそうですが。
お寮のばあさんがダム監督の命日のためにおはぎを握ったとおっしゃるんですか？
毎年握って備えてるよ。あんた毎年見てるって今言ったでしょうが。
Oishi was stunned. Oreo was the biggest hardliner in the Onigafuchi Guardians, no question about that. Oishi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for his anniversary.
そんな顔しなさんな。
No, she actually put a needle in this one. I mean, nobody's gonna eat it, so it's fine to put needles in ohagi that nobody's gonna eat.
もうさ、
It's just good practice,
そういう
I
のは
think.
おしまいにしようじゃないか。
そういうのとは何のことですかな？
園崎家がダムの監督の墓前に花を供えちゃいけないとか、そういうのさ。もう昭和も60年になろってんだ。下手すりゃ数年もしないうちに元号も変わるかもしれない。そんな時代にまであんたは終わっちまった戦争をずるずる引きずりたいってのかい？
ご冗談を。もうあんな戦争はごめんです。平和が一番ですよ。
国にも悪いところがあった。反省が必要だね。でも私たちにも悪いところがあった。だから私たちは反省するよ。そしてそれはそれでおしまいになったなら、あとはいつまでもグダグダ言ってても仕方ないだろう。古い時代を片付けて新しい時代を作るのが若者の仕事さね。不幸な事件があってこの御仁は死んじまったけど、もし生きてたなら私は一緒に酒を飲んで全部水に流したいと思ったさ。でも死んじまった。だからこの御仁とはもう仲直りできない。悲しいことさ。
それが死別というもんですからね。
でもあんたは生きているじゃないかい。
そうですね。私は生きてます。あんたらも生きてます。
ならあんたともいつか仲良くできる日も来るかもしれないね。
さーてどうでしょうね。
こいつを住職さんに。その後は表に車を回してきておくれ。
Akane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Shion. Shion took the envelope, bowed to Oishi, and then ran
ダム
off.
戦争の時は小生意気なお嬢さんだと思ってましたが、いつの間にか成長された。
Oh no, she's still feisty, my dude. That girl, literal definition of feist. She will break a chair over your head if she has to. Don't you worry. That ain't changed a bit.
ダム戦争から何年経ってると思ってんだい？
She's hit puberty, and we even went bra shopping together. My oh my.
いつまでも戦争状態じゃ心も体も持たないよ。それだけの時間が経ってるんだ。
それだけの時間が経ったんですね。時間は若者ほど濃密で、年寄りほど気が気になる。
Yeah, my life is over!
変わらないのは年寄りだけさ。でも時代と若者は絶えず成長してる。そしてぼんやりしてる間に私たちを追い抜いていっちまうのさ。で、私たちは隠居して若者を見守るのさ。
Oh no, don't make Akane sound really Trumpy. Oh god.
おつなもんですな。あの獅子骨の鬼姫、園崎茜にいつの間にか説教をされるようになったんですから。
嫌だね、そんな通りな。まだ覚えてるのかい？今じゃ獅子骨のレディーで通ってるんだよ。
She's a lady now. A lady. Yeah, she's a proper lady.
そいつは内緒にしてくれるとありがたいね。
ダム戦争も終わったんですしね。
そうさ、もう終わったことなのさ。
The two of them watched Shion and the priest exchange words in front of the main temple building. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly flittered between
勤
them.
務中だろうけどさ。どうだい一つ、ひんやり練習でも行かないかい？
今日は遠慮しましょう。私も車ですし、あなたも車じゃないんですか？
そりゃ残念だね。またの機会にしようかい。
そうですな。またの機会にしましょう。
Something that had been sitting inside Oishi for a long time had started to dissipate. Something that had coagulated was
そろ
melting
そろ戻り
away.
ます。
Yeah, this is a really... Even I'm feeling like this sense of a release of tension here. Of it just like, of them being able to let go. It's just a nice feeling.
あなたもお嬢さんを待たせているでしょう。
そうさね。あんたとはいろいろあった気がするけどさ。これで一度パーッとチャラにしちゃいたいね。
そのあたりの生産会はまた後日に改めてやりましょう。いずれきっと。
Akane turned around with a big smile on her face, but all of a sudden it changed into an impish grin.
それでね、大石の旦那。
Oh god, Akane just boinged.
私たちのわだかまりがパーッとなくなったところでさ。昨日反則切符もらっちゃったんだけど、むしゃくしゃパーッと破り捨てちゃってさ、これもパーッとなかったことにできないかね。
ああ、そいつは最寄りの警察署へどうぞ。私に声をかけてくれりゃ順番待ちを優遇するくらいはしますよ。
yeah, you're not wrong.
チェ、サービスの悪い人だよ。
Their laughter echoed under the blue sky that actually wasn't blue, it was orange. But we'll forget that. We'll forget those minor inconsistencies in narration and the graphical assets that are currently being used. We're not petty. We're not petty.
お待たせしましたわ、野村さん。
Oh, hey!
いえいえ、失礼しました。
At the moment, I'm talking to a woman over the
その
phone.
後のお加減はいかがですか？
Oh, it's sexy woman and sexy voice woman from the car. Time for ear sex.
ええ、万事つつがなく、明日が祭りになりますわ。
そうですか。それは良かったです。
明日の夜、富武には哀れな事故に。すべて廃棄したはずの H173 が投与された痕跡を残し、どういう形であれ哀れな最後を遂げるでしょ
それはとても楽しそうな幕開けです。こちらではすでに議事録の捏造が終了しています。
Nomura is a special case in this instance. Nomura's voice is very good.
入江二佐が研究継続を求めて他国に研究を売り渡そうとして独走し始める痕跡です。
富武殺しはそれに組み込まれる。
そうです。理事会に対し入江機関への疑問を抱かせる最初の布石になります。そのあたりの工作は全てこちらが受け持ちますので、どうか。
それから例の件ですが、もしもの時はいかがしましょうか。
もしもの時と申しますと？
いえ、富武兄が買収に応じた場合です。
富武任意の買収は作戦には含まれていないのではありませんでしたか？
いえ、だって彼は理事会の監査役です。
Is that hesitation? Is that hesitation I hear in our girl Takano's voice right now?
もしこっちの味方になってくれれば、いろいろ利用できることも多いかと。
こちらの分析では、今回の作戦に富武任意が寝返ってくれてもリスクの割に得るものはありません。作戦に不安要素をわざわざ加味する必要はないのではありませんか？
Well, I mean, it's actually the other way around. Like, when she offers to let Tomitake join, it sounds like Takano would be the one on the leash and being walked around. It sounds like she's kind of into that, given the way that she presented the idea to him in the previous arc. Just saying.
おっしゃる通りですわね。失礼しました。何かに使えるかと思ったもので提案しただけです。当初の予定通りに行きます。
それがよろしいでしょう。それではまた連絡します。
Man, I want Nomura to talk to somebody really nonchalantly about my murder too. That would just be so hot.
失礼します。
For a while I kept holding the telephone receiver, lost in thought. Then I put it down and dialed a number that I had become very familiar with.
はい。エコノミーホテル沖宮でございます。
406号室、富武をお願いします。高野とお伝えください。
You might even say that that's John Thayer's brand.
はい。今お取り次ぎしますので、少々お待ちください。
The telephone operator put me on hold, leaving behind only electronic music. I waited for about a minute and the operator came back on
申し訳
again.
ございません。406号室のお客様はただいま外出中でございます。
Oh boy.
お電話があった旨ご伝言いたしましょうか。
もう何度も伝言を頼んでるから結構です。
Oh, she's getting nervous.
富武さんはいつ外出したかわかりますか？いつ頃戻るかわかりますか？
申し訳ございません。それにつきましてはお答えできかねます。
わかりました。またかけます。
I put down the phone receiver when the operator finished speaking. This is the third time I've tried calling him. I left a message telling him to call me back, but he hasn't. Why? Is he out taking photographs by himself? Or is he waiting for me behind the shrine where we usually meet? Is he seeing another sexy voiced lady? It could be. Who would think I would actually come all the way here expecting him to be waiting for me? I'm even surprised myself. People are in the middle of setting up for tomorrow's festival. Tents are being put up for food stalls and preparations for various events are taking place. It's almost too noisy for me. What with people shouting as they work, plus the noise from the batteries in the stalls. Soon I reached the back of the shrine before realizing it. This is probably the best view of the whole village. This is where Jiro-san and I usually meet. Just maybe he's waiting for me here. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. God will never grant my wishes. He only has a bit of fun by testing me. I look down on the village below, letting the breeze blow through my hair. He usually follows me around while he stays in Hinamizawa. He persistently asks if I want to go out to eat, go for a walk, or take some photographs with him. But he hasn't done any of that this visit. His behavior towards me has changed. Yeah, like this is really needy right now. Maybe it's because he heard about the horrible impression I left with the new board of directors. Maybe he thinks I'm a mad scientist because of that incident. I can't help. I can feel that he's gradually losing interest in me, but I had my own complaints too. When I don't want him around, he's so persistent. But when I need him to listen to me, I can't get a hold of him. But if I did get through to him, what would I even talk about? What would I talk to him about right after talking to someone about the plan to assassinate him? Why should he even answer my call? I'm simply running wildly, and when I reach the point of no return, I'll want to be forgiven. And I want him to do that for me. Wow. Just because he always does whatever I want him to do, and he shows up whenever I need him. Who would forgive someone like me? Someone who has nowhere to go but hell. Would he forgive me out of sympathy? No way. While he'll be surprised, he'll do his job and arrest me. I am a member of the SDF after all, so what I'm doing is committing treason. Second replacement dad is abandoning me. I've been thinking about him a lot for the past few days, and just now I realized something. He's not attractive at all as a man. He has no sense of humor or good taste. He has nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, he has a belly, but there's nothing appealing about him. He doesn't care about my schedule. He's persistent when I treat him nicely because I'm in a good mood, and he becomes more persistent. There really is absolutely nothing good about him. Despite his age, he tells me things like how the last time he held a woman's hand was when he did folk dancing at some summer camp. Furthermore, he says those things to make me laugh. It's hopeless. But more than anything, I can't stand when he completely ignores my feelings. I want to be alone sometimes. I don't want to do anything sometimes, yet he drags me out, completely ignoring how I feel. That's why, even when I'm exhausted or don't feel like doing anything, I end up going with him, which makes me laugh. I always thought that just wore me out, but I want him to drag me around. I'll probably never feel this way again, and yet he's not here. Do I really believe I don't want to spend time with him? Maybe I've just grown used to this abundant affection. When he took me out on a day I didn't want to go out and do anything, I was in a bad mood at first, but after a while I started to feel better, and found myself having a lot of fun. He's a precious boy, you ungrateful harlot! If he was with me now, would he take me out to photograph birds like always? Would he happily explain it all would he happily explain it all with his know-how, even though I didn't ask? That'd be very boring and troublesome, but that's what I honestly want right now. Do I see my grandpa in him? I loved my grandpa. He gave me a purpose to live. I needed him. I loved Uncle Koizumi. He helped me with my dream. I needed him. After both of them died, maybe I just sought their aspects in him. Am I starving for a protector? Maybe I'm so traumatized by my parents' accident that I need to have someone nearby to watch over me all the time. Maybe I'm still immature. Maybe this is the most self-aware thing that I have said in my inner dialogue in 8 video games. My inner child is throwing a fit because she can't put together a toy, saying that if it's going to be broken anyway, she's going to break it herself. How are you so self-aware? It won't just be my problem. It will bring a huge, irreversible tragedy, but that's the only way to prove the truth of my grandfather's work. That belief allowed me to prepare for this up to this point. In just a few days, the top members of the government will be scrutinizing my grandfather's article, and, terrified by the worst scenario he predicted, they'll regret canceling our research and neglecting countermeasures, and they'll pass their final resolution. That's when my grandfather's article will become truth, his great work uplifted, and his name carved into the pages of history. And then he will become a god, an eternal existence. And I will reveal the god worshipped as Oyashiro-sama to be the Hinamizawa syndrome, casting them down to earth. I'm going to complete the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama with Jiro-san's death, as well as my own. I'll become the one who curses, not the one who is cursed. I'll be in the position to test instead of being tested. I will ascend to godhood. I'm going to make the curse a reality, and I'm going to kick the god of this place off her throne. And then my grandfather and I will be together forever. Gods don't get tested. Fate doesn't test gods. No grief will separate us. I will be with my grandpa forever. After that, we're going to work on our research together in that study, filled with the smell of formalin. Formalin, there we go, that's the word. A scene from happier days. Grandpa's at his desk, writing down something. I'm in a good mood, lying on my stomach on the carpet right behind him, while flapping my legs and humming a tune. I help him with his research by organizing his books as if I were playing with blocks. To return to those times is my only wish. Of course, if I could go back that far, I'd want my parents to be alive too. If I could play with my grandpa's books, while listening to my mother cooking in the kitchen and my father flipping through his newspaper, that would complete my happy world. It would be my ideal childhood. But that world doesn't have a door to the outside world, so I can't go over to my friend's house. Because if I did go to my friend's house, there wouldn't be anybody there and when I returned. Nobody. Because they'd all have died in a train accident. How's it going, Raven? Hope you're doing well. We're a little bit into tonight's stream, so I don't want an outside world. I want to stay in my house with my parents and my grandfather. Looking forward to a stream. Nice. I am a doctor, after all. I can analyze myself. I know that what I'm wishing for is proof of my immaturity. But if I know that much, then why do I still long for a parental figure in Jiro-san? Even as I plan an operation which includes his death, I'm still trying to hang on to him. If I'm going to betray people so I can become a god, then I should remain a villain until my final moments. But if I'd rather be a lonely little girl, then I should remain modest and humble until my final moments. Either way, if it was my way of life, nobody can criticize me for it. Because if I believe it is right, then all I can do is go on without listening to such criticism. But I still can't decide, so I want someone to criticize me. Nobody has ever criticized my way of life. That's why I want to hear someone do it. I want someone to tell me my way of life is wrong. I want Jiro-san to tell me I've done such a stupid thing, and I want him to slap me. Such masochistic desires speak a great deal as to how I'm rejecting my present self. Am I really still longing for a parent? I'm too old to call myself immature. Even if I do, nobody else will. No matter how immature I am inside, people will treat me as a grown person. They will say I possess an adult's responsibility and proper judgment, and that they've brought me to this far already. Then I'll be judged before the devil. Will I still plead not to judge my immature self as a grown-up? Am I going to act that pathetically even in front of the devil? I'm already going to hell, yet I can't completely become the devil. I hate the idea of hell, yet I refuse to try and repent. My mind can only float in a lake of blood, drifting as I drown. If only Jiro-san was here, my mind would clear up as I played along with his insensitive chatter. Why isn't he around when I need him most? This is the last chance I'll have to spend time with him. I hate how immature I am, becoming so insecure just because he isn't around. I found myself before the offertory box. I came here when the EDA clinic's construction had ended and the research at the EDA Institute was about to begin. I remember how bravely I challenged the god of this place. I was full of hope and ambition. After going through many hardships, I finally came this far. I even vowed that I would become a god. I did so in front of the god of this place. I can vaguely recall my grandfather telling me a story similar to that. There's a right... That's right. It was a story of the Tower of Babel. When there was only one language in the world, all people lived in one place and one will. In a display of their authority, they started to build a tower that would reach heaven. God got angry because those people had forgotten how to show respect to him. He believed all of man gathered to commit such an affront because they all shared one language and one will. So their communion was shattered. People were thrown into disorder, and and they were given many different languages so they wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. And as they couldn't communicate with each other, many left, and the tower which challenged heaven fell to ruin. Something like that, anyway. I'm not sure what the lesson is, but this is what my grandfather explained to me. Building a tower that reaches up to heaven is the greatest challenge for humans, but it is also a challenge to God. To challenge God was truly sinful, but as humans, we couldn't help but test that untrodden peak. It's not easy to build a tower that's high enough to reach heaven. While they're building the tower, the people will fall into disharmony and lose the mutual understanding that they once started with, their united wills thrown into disarray. This applies not to just a group of people, but can be said about one person as well. No matter how solid their will, the closer they become to heaven, the more limits God imposes upon man. So even iron wills are sure to waver at some point. It is just too arrogant for humans to think that they can always carry out their original intentions. That must have been what my grandfather was thinking deep down. I'm sure he lost hope many times since nobody ever recognized the value of his research. Yet he believed in himself, and he believed that someday his work would be appreciated. Maybe that was his wish, rather than reaching heaven. Grandfather realized he wouldn't be able to complete his research, and maybe he was trying to find where he could compromise. Humans can't build a tower that reaches heaven, but the story of the Tower of Babel is still around. It didn't reach heaven, but we still tell the story of the tower that challenged God. According to that story, the tower was left behind and with nobody to work on it. The incomplete tower stayed in that place for a long time, never achieving its goal. But if someone were to see it, they would realize how great it was that someone accepted that challenge and praised their name. I took over the tower from my grandfather and tried to make it reach heaven, but I ended up succumbing to the same fate. As if it is going to be destroyed anyway, I will try to destroy it myself. What am I doing anyway? If I hadn't tried to continue Grandfather's research, his work on Hidemazawa syndrome would have remained forever. Even if it was an empty tower that nobody ever visited, if somebody did come by, they would praise whoever attempted that challenge. You once again feel affirmed. Okay. I've just always said Babel. That's just how I had always heard it. Be right back. Alright. Beyblade is now the correct... Yep. Tower of Beyblade, I think, is... that is the canonical name from now on. But I took over his work, and I built the tower even closer to heaven, which made God angry, and the tower is now going to be destroyed. The tower will become a pile of rubble. When the EDA Institute is shut down, all of its records will be destroyed. My grandfather's wish for his work to be appreciated by someone will never be granted. I tried to make my grandfather an eternal existence, yet I ended up making that an impossibility. How can I call myself Mio Takano? Instead of inheriting 1, 2, 3 from my grandfather and continuing to count to 3, 4, I reduced it all to 0. So she's going to change her name to Rei then, right? Rei Takano doesn't really have the same ring to it, though. Even if it wasn't for me, my grandfather's work would have remained an empty tower. It would have stayed in this world forever, but I ruined it. I did that. I can feel myself sweating. The sweat reminds me that I've done something inexorable. When did I make a mistake? Where did I go wrong? It wasn't when I came here. It was before that. I started to walk down the wrong path long before that. If I put myself in my grandfather's spot, I know. My grandfather was working on a great challenge. He built a mighty tower, and it was supposed to continue to stand there and wait for someone to appreciate it. Grandfather definitely said he wanted his work to be valued by someone, even after his death. But I misunderstood. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn. I misinterpreted Grandfather's wish and I ruined it. I ruined everything. I tried to make him an eternal existence, yet I destroyed him. Grandfather built an eternal tower, yet I raised it. Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? It's obvious. My grandfather counted to 3, and with that, it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed, and now all of it is ruined. I abso-fucking-lutely love everything that is going on with this narrative right now. It's so fucking good. It's so well put together. Just her whole mindset is so well thought out. She's so fucking cognizant of it. Oh, it's so good. I just had to stop and appreciate this for a moment. We as the reader understand this. We know this, but like, the character having this realization already, it's man, that's fucking good. It was obvious. My grandfather counted to 3, and with that, it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed, and now all of it is ruined. I shouldn't have tried to count to 4. I shouldn't have done anything. Besides, Grandfather didn't even ask me to continue his research. A little girl shouldn't play in this dark study. Go outside and play with your friends. I remember my grandfather telling me things like that, but I refused, and I stayed in the study so I could help him. And eventually, he stopped telling me to play outside and just enjoyed having my company while he worked. But when we first met, he used to say things like that. Then what? Living with Grandpa was the first mistake I made? Then what? When I escaped the orphanage, I shouldn't have called Grandpa? I shouldn't have found the 10-yen coin? I shouldn't have asked Grandpa to help me? Now I remember. I know where I belong. A noise of something metal striking something else is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. I'm not allowed to fall asleep. I wasn't asleep. I just had my eyes closed, that's all. Sorry. Uh-oh. Oh no! My body is getting cracked. I think my body is getting cracked. All the dirty, itchy, and painful things soak into those cracks, and the filth and prickling feel horrible. It's soaking into my chest, gathering together. I desperately try to resist so that it won't touch my heart. Jesus. This is a really good shot. Holy shit. But the dirtiness and itching draw together more and more. My whole chest is soaked, and soon enough my face will be swallowed. Even drowning in this dirtiness and itching, I try desperately to hold my breath so that at least my heart won't be soaked with it. I can't hold my breath any longer. I drown in an ocean of muck, and yet, as I'm taking on the muck, my heart desperately struggles not to be tainted by it, to rise above it until my heart too sinks into a sea of grime. Only creatures that have lived on land will grasp and suffer the pain of drowning as they long to return to dry land. Creatures that always lived in the ocean never drown. Grandpa won't come help me. That is the best thing for me and him both. See, when I stop struggling, there's no more noise. I don't have to hear that scary metal noise. Is it a roar or a yell? I needed to borrow strength to scream in order to come back to the present world. My body is all sweaty. It feels dirty, itchy, and painful. It reminds me of that day. I can feel welts coming on as the sweat crawls down my skin. No, it's just a delusion. It can't be itchy, because all that is long over. I take a bath every day. I scrub my body until it turns raw and red. So not even the slightest drop of that horrible filth can possibly remain. I can't help it. I remember the filth. I can only get rid of it by scratching my arms so hard it leaves marks. I can't get rid of the itching. I can't get rid of the filth. Of course I can't. I'm a filthy existence. Grandpa should never have saved someone like me. Meeting me made him unhappy. I shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have been born. I should have stayed inside that metal fence and spent my whole life there. I need to go back inside it. I should never have left. That is the place where I belong. Corner me with that horrible metal noise. Crush me with that filth, itchiness, and pain. And then kill me, so that I'll never meet Grandpa. Is that your wish? Yes, much like those left behind at the top of Babel's crumbling tower. Or Icarus, unable to reach heaven, only to fall, that is my final wish. Bring me back inside that metal fence, and give me back the fate that's suitable for my filthy existence. The wish of a liar will never come true. But I'm not a liar. You have spoken your true wish once, yet you have yet to realize that's your greatest wish, and I cannot grant that wish just yet. Are you saying that's the punishment we sinful humans face for challenging God? You should already know. The strength of your desire is what creates the future. You lack the strength. Are you saying I haven't tainted myself enough? Will even the gates of hell remain shut for someone not fully committed like me?
Rika さん、さとこちゃん、容体はいかがですか？私です。入江です。
Akasaka-san warned me I have to be careful. Akasaka-san opened the door
お疲れ
silently.
様です。外は賑やかですね。
明日のお祭りの準備で大にぎわいです。これは模擬店部会さんからお見舞いにと持たされたかき氷です。せっかくなのでいただきましょう。
これはありがたい。いただきましょう。
Akasaka-san is wearing a t-shirt, but is still drenched in sweat. All the windows have been shut, and he can't even open the curtains, so it's very hot inside. But even accounting for that, he's still sweating like mad.
すごい汗ですね。確かにこの暑さでは無理もありません。
This is a setup for a yaoi fanfic, isn't it? Is that what's happening here? Are we being set up? Are we being baited into something?
いえ、トレーニングを少ししていただけです。ドタバタするわけにはいきませんので、もちろん気をつけながらですが、有事があるなしにかかわらず、体は常に臨戦態勢にしておかなければ。
適度な運動は気分転換にもいいですからね。このようなところでずっと緊張を強いられていては、精神的にも参ってしまうでしょうに。
いえ、慣れてますから。でも、先生の差し入れはとても助かります。
Akasaka-san smiled like a happy child as he ate the strawberry-flavored shaved ice.
何か動きはありますか？富武さんから連絡は？
いえ、まだ何も動きはありません。あ、高野さんが富武さんと連絡がつかないと言っていました。
身の安全のために宿を変えているはずでしたね。
感づかれたのでしょうか。
いえ、そういう不信感を持ってはいないようです。私も写真撮影に飛び回っているのではないかとフォローしています。
怪しまれるのも時間の問題ですね。風向きはどちらにせよ、近いうちに強い風が吹きそうです。入江先生、くれぐれもご用心を。
ええ、もちろんですよ。ああ、そうだ。先ほど大石さんにお会いしまして、こんな話が進んでいるので伝えてほしいと頼まれました。
I explained the 48-hour operation to Akasaka-san. Akasaka-san seemed impressed with the notion, especially because I told him it came from the girls.
うまい手ですね。連中に相当の揺さぶりをかけられるでしょう。そのうろたえぶりから富高さんが敵の尻尾をつかめる可能性は十分にあると思います。で、その作戦の指導は？
I can see that happening. That is a logical outcome. She is in the area, so she might be keyed in to this very unique sense of machismo permeating this room right now.
それは今夜、大石さんと皆さんが打ち合わせして決めるようですが、やはり時間はかけられないということで、早ければ明日の早朝には決行するそうです。
そうですね。長い時間臨戦態勢でいるのはかなりの消耗を強いられます。打てる手があるなら早いうちの方がいい。
赤坂さんがひなみ沢に滞在できる休暇の限界もありますしね。いつまでなんですか？
家内には一応日曜日の深夜には帰ると言いましたが、事情が変わればやむを得ません。幸恵も刑事の妻です。分かってくれると思います。
ここでは奥さんに電話をすることもできませんね。それは辛い役を押し付けてしまったものです。
大丈夫です。新婚時代じゃあるまいし、毎晩電話しなきゃ見下り班ってわけじゃありません。
Although he says that, it's easy to tell that Akasaka-san wants to hear the sound of her voice.
赤坂さんの方では何か変化はありましたか？何か必要なものがあれば持ってきますので。
必要なものは特にありません。変化は難しいところです。何しろ祭りの準備でこれだけの出入りがありますからね。その中に不審な気配が混じり込んでいてもとても私には分かりません。むしろ逆にこの人混みの中にここを監視する敵も混じり込んでいると思って警戒するくらいがちょうどいいでしょう。
そうですね。そうそう、山犬ですが、やはり赤坂さんがおっしゃったように動き出しているようです。
When I asked Okunogi about their plans, he said he's raising the security level for the days surrounding the festival to take into account the possibility that some criminal might use the fifth year of the curse to target Rika-chan.
現在の状況と一致しますね。まるで明日の祭りに合わせて表も裏も全ての準備が同時に進んでいる気がします。
明日はいろいろな意味で祭りになるとおっしゃるわけですね。
If the 48-hour operation gets underway tomorrow morning, it'll be quite the turbulent day. Yes, everything will change starting tomorrow, June 19th, 1983. A tempestuous day that divides a peaceful world from a tragic one. The fate of the world will change on that day. I finished my secret meeting with Akasaka-san and left while calling up to the second floor window, pretending to address the girls. When some villagers saw me do that, they asked how they were doing. They asked me about both girls, which made me very happy. What Oryo-san said yesterday is already spread among the villagers. In other words, the curse of Oyashiro-sama may have already lifted even before tomorrow's festival. If nothing happens tomorrow, then this village is finally free from the curse and the ghost of the damn conflict. As we prepare for the upcoming battle, I realize the extent of the responsibility we've taken on, but at the same time, that gives me strength. After greeting officials under the main tent, I ran into Takano-san as I headed back to the clinic. Hey, you! You look like you're here. Not having a bad time. Not having a bit of an episode right now. Anything you want to talk about? It's unusual for her to be alone. If Tomitake-san was with her, I could understand, but she'd never come by here by herself. For a moment, I thought maybe she suspected a connection between me and Akasaka-san, but it doesn't seem that way. I'm relieved.
珍しいですね。こんなところでどうされたのですか？
いいえ、別に。ちょっとした気まぐれの散歩ですわ。
そうですか。今日は気持ちいい風が吹きますからね。散歩も気持ちがいいと思いますよ。
二郎さんもそんな風に誘われて一人で散歩に行っているのかし
ら。Those words had a strange nuance to them. Takano-san normally only spends time with Tomitake-san. Out of politeness. At least, that's how she's been acting. So when I heard her say that, I was a little surprised.
そうかもしれません。彼は東京の人ですからね。ひなみ沢の自然や空気はとても貴重なものだとわかるのでしょう。
所長、二郎さん、どこに行かれてるかご存知ありません？
いえ、存じませんが。はて。
昨べの会合にも欠席してますわね。他のスタッフが進行してくれたからいいですけど、本来なら二郎さんの役目じゃないんですかしら。職務怠慢でしてよ。
This is going in the wrong direction. I have to change the subject.
まあ、彼もたまには羽を伸ばしたいと思うこともあるんじゃないでしょうか。彼にもあるんですよ。一人になりたい時が。あなたと同じにね。
そうですわね。私ったら。
I think that went well. She didn't ask about Tomitake-san after that. When I look around, I can imagine how lavish the festival is going to be tomorrow. Watsunagashi is the biggest festival of the year around here. It's grown in scale ever since the damn conflict. Ever since that damn conflict ended. And this year, the village festival is hitting a peak. That damn conflict. I tell ya! I'm sure villagers of all ages will enjoy themselves tomorrow. Takano-san and I overlooked a heartwarming scene.
明日は楽しいお祭りになるでしょうね。
ええ。楽しい祭りになりますわね。
The conversation was very ironic. We both meant something different as we spoke.
祭りの幕開けが楽しみですね。
ええ、楽しい祭りの幕開けですわ。
I noticed an indescribably bitter smile on her
明日は
face.
晴れるといいですね。せっかくここまで準備して雨で中止なんて気の毒です。
ここまで大々的に準備した盛大なお祭りですもの。雨天ごときで中止になるわけありませんわ。
そうですね。明日はどんな天気になろうとも必ず祭りになりますね。
ええ、盛大なお祭りになりますわよ。きっと。
Oishi-san had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green lights.
やるね。さぞや話をまとめるのは難しかったでしょう。
いや、それがね、私が呆れるくらいあっさり皆さん船に乗ってくれちゃいまして。いや、若さっていいなあ。私一人だけがうじうじとみっともないってありゃしないです。もう後には引けません。この大石クラウド。
Oishi-san was always a man with great presence. He seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. This will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going on the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge the opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match can be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush.
ね、リカ。味方が多いというのはこんなにも心強いことなのです。
もうあんたに口を挟む気はないわ。ほんの数日前まで私は運命に屈しかけていたというのに、それから数日を経ただけでここまで変わるなんて。これは本当に運命をひっくり返せるかもしれない。
リカ、そんな弱い気持ちではダメなのです。
そうね、ひっくり返せるかもじゃない、ひっくり返す、勝つ。私たちは運命を打ち破る。
となれば次に重要なのはトラップのタイミングですわね。
タイミングも何もねえだろ。即時発動だろ。今夜にはリカちゃんが姿を消してから48時間が成立する。待てば待つほど相手を利するんだから、すぐに仕掛けるべきだと思うぜ。
そうだね。慎重さは今回に限り相手を利するだけというのはどうか。守りは慎重であるべきだけど、攻めは大胆であるべきだと思う。ケンイチとレナの太鼓判がもらえればとても心強いのです。どうですかみんな。
私は依存ないわ。もう覚悟は決まってる。いつだって OK よ。
木はすでに熟してどう見るさ。急ぐのはもちろんですけど、今すぐというのは早すぎますわ。相手の隙をつくならもう少し冷静に引き金を絞るべきでございましてよ。
奇襲なら夜だろ。今を除いて最高のタイミングがあるのかよ。
まあ落ち着きな。サトコの言うのも一理あるし、奇襲の定番は野襲。でもね、今の私たちを見てごらん。ほら、こうして深夜から血気盛んでしょ。野襲が効果的だったのは電気がなかった時代の話だよ。近代戦では深夜は奇襲になり得ない。もっと最適な時間帯がある。
奇襲により適した時間帯があるのですか。
わかったわ。幼稚の反対、朝がけね。
ほほう、難しい言葉をご存知ですね。確かに人間、どの時間に一番電話がもらいたくないかと言ったら、深夜よりは明け方です。何しろ寝ぼけているところでは正常な判断ができませんからね。
夜明け前の奇襲、いいタイミングだと思う。
私もそれが一番効果的だと思う。高野さんの性格から考えて、5年目のたたりを装う形で何かのアクションを起こす可能性は極めて大だと思う。なら今夜はそれの前夜
前夜ほど流行る心を抑え
な睡眠をとろうと思うのが人というものなのです。見えてきましたわね、最高のトラップタイミングが。
夜明けの奇襲か。くわ、なんだよそれ。男として生まれたからには一度はやってみたいシチュエーション。燃えてきた。
前原さんもうちの連中と同じですね。おや？ということは男で燃え上がっていないのは私だけってことですか？
We need to get Oishi psyched, everybody. We need to press 1 in chat to psych up our boy Oishi. He needs us right now. Come on. Send this man your energy. All right, you did it, everybody.
ならいいですね。
He's ready.
明日の早朝に48時間作戦を発動します。これで敵がどう動くかです。相手をか乱し、その出方に合わせて攻撃する。これは遊撃作戦ですよ。
よーし、部長園崎美音の名において48時間作戦の発動を命ず。決行は明朝4時。一気に慌ただしくなる可能性が高い。総員は何があっても即応できるよう心身のコンディションを最高で保つこと。そして忘れるな、木南沢の後輩はこの一戦にあり。敵の陰謀を許せば村が滅ぶかもしれないんだよ。
けっ、んなこと我が部の目が黒いうちには許すかってんだ。
さあ、相手がどう出るか、鬼が出るか大蛇が出るか。みー、ニャーニャーが出てくるかもなのです。
We could only be so lucky.
そうだったら可愛いですわね。それはないです。絶対に大きな動きが起こります。例えるならこれは微震。大きな津波が押し寄せる前の予兆のよう。
Reddit goes hard, man.
レナもその微震を感じてるよ。さあ、その津波を起こしてやろう。飲み込まれるのは村か連中か。
俺たちはその波で波乗りとしゃれ込んでやるぜ。
Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. What if we found a way to turn an entire village into pickles? Wouldn't that be the funniest shit you ever seen? They'll panic. Their pace will be off, and they'll be guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will and preparing ourselves to act gives us the full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Hinamizawa. This game, this festival, will start with our siege. Come on, we're ready. We're ready for June 19th, 1983. Hey, Rika? Have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there were always this many emotions in this world. There were just always countless numbers of them gathered on this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it because we always looked at the world subjectively. There are so many people in this world, and each of them has very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. With this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragment will we be granted? Who will win, Takano or us? The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th, 1983. And we will do so tomorrow. The Curse of Pickle Shiro-sama. No! So let's take all the time we can to mentally and physically prepare for June 19th, 1983. Coming at you live, starting tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, just like always.